Welcome to today's episode where we are featuring a mono blue tempo deck list here from Magic, a featured deck list going from Platinum to Mythic. I'm excited to share this one because we got some interesting one-offs and a different flavor here for mono blue tempo. Thank you for tuning in. As always, down below you'll find the timestamps as I walk through the strategy objective of this list. We'll cover your boarding for this board and this sideboard right there, and then we'll go play that competitive Magic in both best of one and best of three here today. Win or lose, rain or shine, as we like to say. Now, if you happen to have a question, if you got a comment, let me know because I'd love to hear from you as always, and come swing by and join us in the Discord server. Let's get moving here though, because you're here to see mono blue tempo in action and understand this list a little bit better. So the original mono blue really focused around a lower curve. This one has a little bit of a higher curve. So that's the first thing to notice. The second thing to notice is we continue to take advantage of things like C double. The other piece here is that we're adding in is Fairy Mastermind, so giving us the ability to draw more, which is great for this list. We have other abilities to draw it again with Flow of Knowledge, but using Fairy Mastermind is going to pull this down a little bit, even though our opponents may get that opportunity to draw as well through that each player draws a card. However, when an opponent draws their second card, you still can continue to gain that card advantage. So it's essentially a nice pop in and make them draw, and then you also get an additional card kind of a thing. That can be very powerful here, particularly in tempo list and control list. This thing you can play a little less aggressive, so it's kind of that pass go mentality. The other thing about this one that's pretty interesting is we have changed the equation. So this thing has a hard counter target spell with mana value 2 or less, or things that are green or red 6 or less, which makes a very, very powerful 2 counter spell. Now we are running less of the Make Disappears. I think that's pretty important to understand. Less the Fading Hopes and Pushback. But again, this is primarily a best of 3 list, so it makes sense. You want to be a little bit more aggressive for best of 1. We'll play this in best of 1 regardless, because it is, again, a little bit of a different tempo flavor. We have things like Blue Sun's Twilight here additionally, so if you can gain control of target creature with mana value X or less, if X is 5 or more, create a token that's a copy of that creature on top of that, which is a nice one-off blowout card. Again, we can use C double, and then we also have Invoke the Winds, gain control of target artifact or creature, untap it. So 2 sorcery speeds that allow us to use our opponent's creatures against them, which is really, really nice. And again, we can kind of slow things up here with Haughty Djinn and Tolarian Terror. Now again, a little bit more of a mid-rangey kind of list, not quick, and not really a late game list. However, it can function between that mid and late just due to the tempo, pacing, and that pass-go strategy. So that's really how it's going to work. You can close out here with a multitude of things in order to overcome your opponents. Now, in terms of boarding, we're going to break down against aggro, mid-range, and late game. We like to do those 3 styles. The first thing is aggro. We definitely want to pop in things like Delver of Secrets. The other things we can use as well is Witness Protection, Enchant Creature. Enchant Creature loses all abilities and is a green white creature with toughness with 1. So this straps down a lot of our opponent's creatures, making them not so great. Is very, very well. Again, Defabricate here if you want to counter target artifact or enchantment spells or a triggered ability. This can work well against the enchantment list. Again, something a little bit different. Filter Out, return all non-creature, non-land permanents to their owner's hand. Again, can work well against the Selesnya enchantment list, can work well against other artifact lists, those kinds of things, or even Planeswalker lists. As we continue to go down, we still have more Delver of Secrets. We have Shore Up here. That might work against aggro if you need to kind of protect your creatures and give them that +1/+1, but again, that's more on that control side. Slip Out can be rather nice because you can chump block or block and then use this as an example, but again, more play around. And then Dissipate here, hard counters, and then Invoke the Winds and Tolarian Terror. I would actually move this one also in against. So really focused on lower creatures and also just creatures against creatures in there, and then also where it makes sense to boost your creatures depending on what they're playing. Now, as we move to mid-range might be a little bit different depending on how many creatures and other spells that they may cast. I might start to think about, again, potentially Filter Out, defabricate here if they're running artifacts, those kinds of things that we just talked about. Shore up for protection so that your creatures don't get blown off the board and killed right away. Similar to slip out the back. Dissipate for some more control and protection. And then Tolarian Terror again in case we need bigger creatures to kind of shift in against the mid-range. Late game, we have a lot of control in here already, but again, it's going to be more protection, so shore up is good. I also would actually move in faster creatures to kind of deal some of that damage and get in there. Dissipate's going to be a good one for you as well, and Tolarian Terror potentially. And then a lot of things here, again, to protect, filter out potentially as well. So that's really what you're going to focus on. It's similar. You're really going to manage around your counter spells and things that you want to be playing with depending on what your opponents are playing to get around and maintain and control the game. Late game stuff, see double and invoke the winds might not be as good for you. Could be areas of opportunity for you. Fading Hope as an example as well. You might want to keep Marchless Whirling Mist to phase out your own creatures for board wipes and those kinds of things. Similar with Blue's Twilight here. Again, very high on that list, maybe not as good against some of the controller aggro as a thing. So that really is the strategy objective of this list. We gave your boarding for best of 3. Let's go ahead now and move into our competitive Magic scene. We've got a lot of great decks here for you to check out as always. Let's go ahead and find that match. Standard ranked, mono blue tempo. We are off. We do have a swag store. Appreciate your support as always. And thank you to all the members. We have that for you too. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for the likes and the subs as well. All right, Ice Cube it is. Here we go. We go first. It's going to be fast. I'm actually going to keep this because we have this. We don't have a ton of the things like I said, which is really counterspell magic. So let's go ahead and turn. We have some here now. Looks like our opponent may be playing a list. There we go. We're okay on that. Let's go here. Domain list. Now, ideally, we actually want a counterspell. Not too worried about that, except it does give him ramp. So I will actually counter it. Now we could have popped in our other guy here. Instead, we'll do this though and hard cast this. It is a risk. I expect him to take that thing off. Because we're off on our mana base. We still need a lot of mana. Getting to 4 would have been key here. We're risking quite a bit on it. All right, there we go. So we can do C double. We can also gain control of creature if we need to. We can also force a draw if we need to. We're not going to play the C double yet, even though we could have done that. They're going to get that through. Now, a couple things we need to think about here. So we can play this. They don't have 8 or more in there. We can pop this in. Let's actually do this. We're going to force a draw. Trigger twice. So again, not great because we don't have a ton of control in here, which is too bad. We do have these things, but not sitting where we want to be. We can't control that. I expect them to hit with an Atraxa next turn, potentially. We'll see. Now again, we still have Flow of Knowledge. but they're in a tough spot because they are going to think that we're on control relative to where we're generally at with this list, because it's not the standard one here. Unfortunately, again, we don't have this. Grab our Atraxa. Grab, choose up to 2. Got this and that. And then we'll hit that one. There we go. So very nice here. This definitely helps us. Again, we could play this and get Flow of Knowledge to be cheaper. We got a couple things that we can do here. And we can think through what we want to do, how we want to do it. Let's see here. You can always protect here with this too and phase all their stuff out. Exile any number of blue cards from our hand, cost less. X creatures phase out. So we can phase out everything and pitch a bunch. That should potentially give us game there. Now they don't have white. They could have a direct kill spell. There we go. Now here's how this works. We're gonna phase 2 of these. Select any number. Let's pitch this guy and that for now. All right, and we can play this one. And we can play this one. And then go in for the kill. There we are. A little bit different there. For mono blue, using their stuff against them instead of more of hard counter. Ultimately, it ended up working out for us, which was really, really nice and very, very smooth in terms of that play. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to move on over now to best of 3, taking down a domain list. None of those went up because we have no blue or other stuff. That is magic, of course. All right, let's go ahead. Switch over to best of 3. Let's see where we're at here. All right, all right. Let's go. We are off, we are off. We are off. To a good start. A Gomez, 41, waiting on our opponent here. We can keep this because we got a moment of truth. Be a little slow for our first one, but that's okay. We do have March again if we need it. might be a slight problem for us. We'll see. Aggro. So we're going to have to pull our curve down. We'll do that. See? Maybe not. We can keep that one. We'll use our moment of truth. We got Thirst for Discovery. There we are. Now, ideally, putting something other than putting the spell in there would have gave us a faster Tolarian Terror, so something to remember as well. We'll put this thing in here. Now, they could be running counter magic, like I said. So that hurts. That definitely hurts. Now they're close to lethal here. Wait. There's the next one. That could be a problem. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to go 5. So it'll be, we can discard 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see if we get through. March of the Swirling Mist. And block there. Now, what you can't forget here is obviously they're going to get through just fine because they can play that. And we'll need to go to our next game. So what they'll do is they'll play this, and then we're tapped out. They actually have lethal there. If they play it, there they go. They got through. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to slide our curve down this way to the left, shift left, as we like to call it. What we'll do a little bit differently here. We don't need this. Play a little bit more of the traditional. Negate's not going to really help us. These are okay. These are okay. We're going to want Delver in there. The Dissipate's not bad. Defab isn't going to work. Counter target activation or trigger. We could play Witness Protection as well. So this removes all abilities and is a green-white citizen. These ones are good to kind of protect. And then if we want to go with counter magic there, C double could help. So that's really what we want to think about. Let's get rid of that. 5 more. Let's grab that one in. Shore up. I think we drop those because they're not direct kill. Dissipate. Let's drop 2 Thirst. And 1 Moment of Truth. There we go. All right, so we still get some good refill. We get some C double. All right, we'll try this one. Still going to be a tough match because we don't have a lot of that pushback stuff. We'll see how it goes. Fast and furious, as we like to say. Now, this is a little rough because we don't have a faster start. We'll try this one. Now, we'll be okay because if we get to 3. There we go. Now we can play a little bit of counter magic. Not super worried about that yet. That one will counter with this. Counter again. Could have let that hit actually and then hit C double and start going in. And then did witness protection on it post. Might have been a better option. We'll try this for now. So we don't want him to dig. Ooh. Ooh. We'll let that go for now. It's a good choice. Here we go. 6. We'll wait. They might flash something in here. Now, that's not a soldier, though. So it does help us. They might pull that back. It shouldn't trigger. Yep. That's gonna give him a draw instead as well. Now we are gonna run a risk here that they're still running a counterspell potentially as well in here. See, we'll see if we get away with it. I'm assuming they got a counterspell here. Oh, good. All right. Now we're in a good spot. Discard 2 spells. Let's go with 1 and a land. Actually, let's get rid of Moment of Truth. And we can keep the fading. Actually, let's keep that one for now. There we go. So now we got 1. too. So fading would have been good if they run into their flyers, right? And search here with the recruitment officer and have everything go over the top. That's what I would do. That's the one thing we could have kept instead to play around that. But they don't have enough on the board yet. So that's why I didn't do it. Not going to pull that one in yet. We're going to grab that Thirst for Discovery. There we go. All right, so they still don't have enough here yet. We can decide on that. We got a few things we can do here. Let's do this one. There we go. Also do this. Still not quite what we want. Not enough flyers yet either on their side. They have a counter, they're good. Let's be close. So you only block 2. Alright, let's get rid of that. Still might be good. 9. Ooh, short by 1. Oh, no, they got it. My math was off. Oh. Didn't matter. Not much we could have done there. Minus maybe flip back one of their guys, but that still would have been enough damage. So nonetheless, a fun match regardless. We did take down in the best of 1 the 5-color, 4-color domain. Atraxa list, best of 3, not quite enough for us to overcome the soldiers list. However, a good match nonetheless. We really missed getting this guy in and getting down the curve a little bit more. That soldiers list can be a tough match for this because they can just keep piling on creatures, and not much advantage we can flip like we did on the Atraxa list. Took control of Atraxa and made it our own. So with that, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. As always, appreciate your support. Thank you for the likes and the subs. Thank you to all the members. We do have that available to you as well. And then additionally, other great ways to stay connected and in the know down below. Lastly, I just want to say questions, comments, let me know because we'd love to hear from you, and come swing by the Discord server. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. On top of that, a fresh take here on mono blue tempo for us. And with that said, may your tempo be a little bit better than mine than it was in the best of 3, but certainly take advantage like we did with Atraxa. Until next time, we'll see you again soon. Mythras out of here. Enjoy.